Alex's POV. Yes? I stared heatedly at the men I had sent after Erika, as they tried to catch their breath after a long time of sprinting through trees and bypassing vehicles, trying to catch her. But then again, they couldn't. They didn't have Erika with them, though I still asked just in case I was wrong. Alpha, she escaped, one of them managed to utter amidst pants. Not caring if they lost their breaths in that moment and died, my stare quickly turned to a glare that could melt even the biggest iceberg. She escaped? Why, yes, Alpha. I growled in anger. How could you let her escape? 5 of you and no one could capture her? What are you my guards for? That Wham just committed a felony and you nitwits couldn't get her? We are SS sorry. Alpha, another of the guard I had sent, apologized. His stuttering was an obvious testament to the fear evident in his voice. Sorry. I advanced towards the 5 of these good-for-nothings menacingly. I felt like snapping their necks. Saren was in the hospital fighting for her life, yet they had the guts to tell me sorry. If something happens to Serenity, will you tell me sorry? If she dies, will you brainless turds tell her dead body sorry? Will you? With every word I spoke, my fury begged to be unleashed, and my fists so desired to aggressively connect with either of their noses or jaws. I had to stubbornly keep my hands to my sides, fighting the temptation to make them bowl over just from the force of my fists. They cautiously moved back in synchronous pace, each avoiding my gaze. With a speed only worthy of any alpha wolf, I took them by surprise and gripped the shirt of the one who had spoken first. Where is Erika? I'm sorry, Alpha. We lost her. I saw his Adam's apple move, and the gulp of his fear, he stared at me with saucer-wide eyes. How could you? I gripped tighter his shirt, almost strangling him in the process. I would kill him. I would kill them all. They were useless, all of them. Very worthless werewolves. How could an Omega outrun you? She belongs to the lowest class in the werewolf ranking. Plea. The lowest. I spat at him, cutting off his lame apology that was only making me more incensed. The other man could not pretend to be strong anymore. They were all shivering, and beads of sweat formed on their forehead. Some even had these beads running down either sides of their punchable faces. Please. I didn't let him finish his annoying apology. In a swift yet smooth motion, my head had connected with the bridge of his nose. The crunch sound it made, signifying it was broken, was satisfying to my ears, but it was not enough to totally quell my anger. Maybe it did quell it a bit, but not enough to want me to walk away. He yelped painfully as he went on his knees in quick surrender, fueling my desire to put the rest of his mates in that helpless condition, and I didn't hesitate to do so. Unleashing my fury, I continued what I had started. A brutal kick here, a heart-stopping jab there, some harsh shove that sent 2 sliding against the rough floor away a few feet from me, and the injuries sustained when friction ruthlessly came into play. And I was bit better. All 5 of them in pains and groaning as they all stared at me with helpless, fear-filled eyes as mice would when they knew they were caught and cornered. The very next time I ask you to do a simple job for me, to carry out a task for me, and you return as failures, I'd make sure you take the fall for whoever I had ordered you to go after. I took 2 steps forward. They drew themselves on the floor backward, all whimpering and quivering like some lily-livered nitwits, which they obviously were. I couldn't for the life of me understand how 5 grown werewolves should go after one Omega Wolfess and fail. She was too fast, Alpha, one of them said, trying to defend himself. The others nodded agreeably. True, Alpha. The one I'd bloodied his nose and possibly given a broken rib managed to speak. She didn't run like an Omega at all. She had such speed and strength to spar. Shut up, I bellowed. Shut up, all of you brainless fools. My blood boiled even more. These men were making me more pissed with their stupid apologies and even more stupid excuses. How else can an Omega run? They all went mute. Answer me. They flinched in fear. How else does an Omega run, you lazy wolves? None of them could answer me, and it irked me. I was suddenly regretting why I hadn't gone after Erika myself. This was probably her plan, to kill Saren and flee since she was already done with the marriage. That crazy Omega with a very jealous and manipulative persona. And I had thought she was nice. During our 3 years, though I had not loved her, she had been obedient and loyal until she allowed herself to go astray. How could she even think of stabbing Saren? What had the girl done to her? She was married to me, not Serene. Whatever issues she had was with me, which was why I was mad. For her unruly act out here, with no respect for the moon goddess. She had committed a grave crime and had been smart enough to cut me off before I made the public accusation, which would ruin her for life. I glared at the werewolves. Pray to the moon goddess that Serenity survives this. Else, the 5 of you will die in Erika's place. Mark my words. Their gasps of panic did nothing to change my mind. I left them to go find my beta. Maybe he would have a clue since his mate was best friends with my ex-mate. Alex's POV. I found Gage in the courtyard on the phone, probably with his mate or so. He turned around and when our eyes met, he hurriedly ended the call and walked towards me. Alex, what's up? He asked and pulled me to take a seat. How's Saren? He asked again when I remained quiet. Still same news, I replied, and leaned back in my seat. Was that your mate just now? I asked, and he nodded. Where is she? I asked again, eyes still on Gage. He gave me a narrowed look before responding. She went to the Ironclaw Pack, he said, and I raised a brow in surprise. What for? I asked again, trying to maintain a positive tone and not seem like I suspect his mate. She says her friend got divorced from her husband, and she needed comfort, Gage said and sighed. I hummed in surprise. Wasn't she only friends with Erika back then? I even overheard them saying they would be best friends forever. Or maybe I was wrong. But Gage's mate seemed to not just be an ordinary woman, because she knows someone from the Ironclaw Pack. Which friend? I suddenly asked him again, and he snapped. Man, what's with the questions? How am I supposed to know the friend she went meet in the Ironclaw? Gage asked, giving me a confused look. Wait, do you suspect Paula for knowing about Erika's whereabouts? He asked me annoyingly. I shrugged and just avoided the question, but he was persistent. Alex, how could you even believe that my mate would be in cohort with the woman who is capable to take a person's life? Gage was pissed this time. I sighed. Maybe I had gone too far, but this was Serenity we were talking about. As much as I hate to admit it, but I love her so much. If anything happens to her, then I would never forgive Erika. I would never. Serenity was my life at the moment, the one who would forever be in my mind and in my heart. Gage's POV. I was very scared for Paula. Now that Alex had begun to suspect her, he would never rest till he got to the bottom of all these. Though I would never allow the him touch my mate. Ruler or not, she was mine and no man would harm her while I was alive. But the troubles it would cause, I sighed, was not worth it. But Paula thought it was. She had refused to tell me which friend exactly she had gone to see. She and Erika had been very close with each other, and even spending some time with together. I never hated Erika, nor have any personal issue with her. I had thought Erika didn't deserve all that she was getting from the Alex, but if she was really responsible for Serenity's current situation, then she had done wrong. She should have known she was not going to carry out that plan of hers successfully. There was a part of me that did not really believe Erika could stoop so low that was Serenity's thing. But everything had happened so fast that the truth was hard to figure out. Except maybe it was the truth we had seen out there today. They could not find her. The hours they spent chasing her, those spineless simpletons could not find her. Is that not worthy of concern, Gage? How can 5 men not catch one Omega Wolf? How? Alex suddenly yelled, catching me off guard as I was lost in thoughts. His voice was rising, and not in the good way. Anger etched his features. That sure is worthy of concern, but can we not just worry about her? She's gone, I told him instead. He eyed me in displeasure. What about Saren? What she did to her? Can we confirm if it's truly her? I inquired, keeping my voice calm and neutral. What are you saying, Gage? Who in their right senses would want to stab themselves so bad that they almost bleed to death? And for what reason? He retorted. I definitely understood his point, because the way Serenity had bled was a cause for alarm. There was so much blood. I get your point. Silence ensued for a short while. He stared at me for a while. I raised my brows inquisitively. Anything the matter? He sighed. I shouldn't be saying this, but Paula went out as soon as Erika left the pack he put in. What are you insinuating? My voice had taken on a steel. And he noticed, but he did not react. This is a grave crime, Gage. She better not be an accomplice. To what exactly? To whatever Erika did, he replied, his tone growing as cold as mine. Erika, you said, not Paula. Go find Erika and leave my mate out of this. The warning was subtle. Is that a warning, Gage? He stood from the chair, towering over me. Not wanting to be intimidated, I stood from my seat as well. Though he was an inch taller than I was still able to meet his gaze. Yes, but a polite one, Alpha. Remember your place. He seethed. I do. And that is why I want to retain that position. What position? By my mate's side. So you would rather have a murderess successfully escape? Don't you remember your duty? He was in my face. I was not afraid of him. Of course I remember, Alpha. My duty is to stand by you and my mate. Also, who's the murderess, Erika? He growled. Again you mentioned Erika, not Paula. I stated, tamping the anger that was boiling. But they're best friends. He retorted angrily. And that is a crime? Do you understand this is a murder case? His wolf's eye color flashed angrily. Is Serenity dead? My hands were fisted by my side. But if anything should ha. Good. I'm glad you cleared that up. So it's not a murder case, yet. And trust me, if I find out that Paula had anything to do with it, I'll... Do not complete that statement, Alex. I implore you with every respect due to you. I kept my tone calm. Because she's your mate? He asked with a chuckle. Yes, and I love her a lot. For a mate, I would not mind fighting till death. And it was the truth. Watch what you say, Beta Gage Forrest. I know what I am saying. Alpha Alexander Robertson. No mate is worth ruining this pack for. Was that why you so casually treated Erika with cold indifference? That made his wolf growl, and mine responded in the same matching energy. Erika's POV. When will you guys be done? I groaned in annoyance. They had been at this seduction lecture for the past 20 minutes, and it was getting tiring. You should be learning, instead of sitting there whining, Kat snapped. She hated the fact that I kept asking them every minute if they were done. But I had to ask. I was feeling left out of the whole charade. Moreover, it was not what I wanted to see at this moment in my life. I merely shrugged. Learn what? As if I have a mate to practice on. Do not lose hope. Alexander is not the only man you'll ever be mated to. The moon goddess will give you another mate, a much nicer one, Paula encouraged. I sighed again, knowing I was hiding something from them. I don't think I'm ready. I don't know, the thought just came to me. I know that during this time, my mind would be all over the place. I'd be having different thoughts. This minute I might want one thing. Another minute I'd be yearning for another thing. Well, There was no one who would go through what I had just gone through and not feel somewhat insane. Don't ever say that. Don't think of whatever Alex had done to you. I kind of have a feeling he'll come back to beg. Paula came to join me on the bed, snuggling me tight. Kat occupied the other side. And even if he doesn't, there are many wonderful guys out there. The only wonderful guys I think are out there right now are my father and Jace, I responded. There are guys like Jace, Gage, and my future father-in-law, Kat uttered, wriggling her body on the bed in a playful gesture. I turned to give her an amusing stare. What are you doing? She grinned, then shrugged. Nothing. Just having fun. Playing, she raised her upper frame a bit to peer at Paula. Still interested in the lecture? I thought we were having a break. Paula yelled. It was more of a statement than an actual question, and she looked like she was ready to spread herself on the bed and drift off to La La Land. You lazy wolfish cat eyed her, making a face that was supposed to show annoyance, but ended up making Paula and I burst into laughter. What? She looked quizzically at the both of us. Nothing, Paula replied. There was a rap on the door, then another. Your Highness, I'm coming in with the food, miss. Greywood requested. Come in. It was Kat who answered, growing impatient. The door opened to reveal two maids carrying two big trays of food. I didn't think I could eat much. Father had just ordered for food to be brought before he left. I hadn't even been able to finish the food. I doubt I would eat much from these two trays that was enough to comfortably feed 4 men. Paula had a normal appetite, but as for Kat, she had the spirit of gluttony possessing her. She ate like she would never have access to food anymore. It never seemed to amuse Paula and I how much she ate. Food is here, Kat squealed in excitement. You know, I wonder if you squeal this way when you see Jace, I said, watching my 2 best friends dig into the big trays of food. She cast a miffed gaze at me. What are you saying? That I love food more than I love my mate? I shrugged. I would not be surprised. You're not eating, Paula observed, chewing on vegetables. She loved them. She was not a strict vegetarian, though. She also ate meat and other kind of food. I'm quite full. Father ordered a tray for few minutes before Paula came in, and I could not eat it. Does this have to do with Alexander? Paula frowned a bit. Why would you think so? I was trying to avoid answering the question. This is unlike you, Rika Paula spoke. How? You mean I love to eat like Kat? I pointed towards Kat, studying her as she stuffed her face with everything she could find on both trays, picking and chewing whatever she found interest in on both trays. She didn't even pay any mind to me, just as she paid none to Paula. She kept her attention focused on both trays, of which one was placed before Paula and the other before her. Hey. What? Kat whined with a mouth full. That's your tray. Focus on it. She instructed Kat, then faced me. Come, let's eat, darling. These trays are too much for just Kat and I. Speak for yourself. Kat tore at the last drumstick on her own tray. I'm good, Paula. You both eat up, I told her. She nodded, then continued her food. The food is nice. Mom, came my absent-minded response. My mind was already straying towards the incident of earlier, wondering what Alexander had done to ruin us and what he was doing at this moment. I thought of the altar of the moon goddess, where everything had happened. I swallowed the lump that had stubbornly formed in my throat. I blinked my eyes and tried to take my mind off of that scenario. The pain that signified the end of what should have been a very beautiful phase of one's life. It took a while before Kat and Paula completed their meal. Kat laid back on the bed, patting her stomach. I gave her the look. She understood immediately and sat up. Such a mother hen. I'm a wolf, not a hen, I responded. Why would you lay down when you just completed a meal? Anything wrong in that? She asked, sulking a bit. Yes, many things are wrong in that. Paula, on the other hand, took the trays and dropped them on the table, close to the bottles of alcohol, for the maids to collect when they came in. It's time for a drink. Kat took one of the bottles. But you just finished having a meal. Paula crooked a brow. She wasn't really surprised, none of us were. So, she gave a mindless shrug. What about glasses? You want to take a swing from the bottle? I asked. I was in the mood for a drink. It would make me forget. Take a swing from the bottle for me, Kat said. Get glasses. Don't act like a cave woman, Paula admonished. Kat rolled her eyes, then walked to the door. Where are you going to? Paula inquired. To get glasses, of course. The maids can bring it, I told her. I'm missing my mate, she grinned. I groaned and Paula face-palmed. I truly felt pity for Jace Blackwood. Erika's POV. I downed the alcohol, drinking it like a camel. I wanted more. More of the stuff that would help me sleep. I wanted to forget, and it would help me forget too. Go easy on the drink. Erika Paula tried to pry the glass off my fingers, but I just tightened my grip instead. Why? Why should I? My words were beginning to get slurred, a sign I was on my way to being overwhelmed by this drink. And I had no regrets. Because we don't need you puking all over this floor and messing up the bed, Kat added. Have I ever done that? I grabbed the bottle and poured myself another glass. Maybe she needs it, Paula. She does look like she needs it, Kat said, studying me as I threw my head back a little to gulp half of the drink I had poured for myself. And us. She needs us more importantly, Paula supported, putting in her own quota. Yes, I do need you girls, and I am glad you both came. I attempted to hug my two best friends. It was loose and awkward, but I didn't care. I think you've had enough, Kat tried to take the glass, but I refused letting go. How is your grip still strong, even after you're intoxicated? I giggled. Because I am stronger. When was the last time we've been this drunk? I asked them. It's been a while, Kat agreed, already understanding what I meant. I see your point now, Paula too agreed. You need to be careful with the drink, Paula Kat advised. Why? She asked, gulping the remaining content in the glass. You'll be going back home. We can't risk you driving home drunk. I'm not going home. Not today, at least, she said. You're staying? Kat looked at me to confirm what Paula had said. I nodded my confirmation. Yes, I am, Paula responded. For how long? Kat probed further. Until she feels better, she gestured towards me using her wine glass. And you? Are you leaving today? Nope, I had no plans to. I only didn't bring clothes because I have Rika's wardrobe to raid Kat, confidently said. I brought some clothes. Paula pointed towards her bag that was at the bedside table, where she had left it. My heart filled with gratitude at the sacrifices my friends were making to be here with me. They had left their daily activities and personal lives to come take care of me and to be by my side. They had come to be the shoulder I needed to lean on, and the hands to hold me for comfort. They could have called me on the phone and comforted me from their respective homes. But they had decided otherwise, and that was leaving the comfort of their homes to be here with me. I was very much grateful for them. I didn't take their friendship for granted. I had another good childhood friend growing up beside Kat, and Kat knew him. He was the alpha of the second most prestigious pack, Thunderpaw, his own pack located on the west side of the country, and we were closer to each other than the others. Losing his father early, responsibility set in, and we could no longer make out time to meet up and play as we used to. He ascended at the early age of 15, and from what I heard, he was doing a great job of ruling his pack and keeping the order. Maybe I would pay him a visit since I was back finally and for good. Also, it epi-pay to have an alliance with him. Two of the biggest and strongest packs coming together to withstand any obstacle. That just gave me an idea. A wicked one. Guys, when I become the alpha, I'd meet with the alpha of Thunderpaw. It's been a while. He used to be our childhood best friend until his father died, and he had to take over. Obviously, it was Kat, that had spoken because she had been my friend from the scratch, together with our alpha best friend. He used to have a crush on you. I remember that clearly, too, Kat teased. I giggled, clearly intoxicated by the drink. Forget it, Kat. We were just children then. I bet he might have found his mate by now. And I also remember you telling me you thought he was cute. I groaned. Remind me never to tell you anything anymore. No matter how many times I reminded you, you would still tell me. If I may ask, who is this person you are both talking about? Paula inquired, looking from me to Kat. He's our childhood friend. Kat was the one to reply her. Where is he now? Paula asked. He's the alpha of Thunderpaw Pack, I replied. Oh, you mean the alpha of the second biggest pack? Paula sounded a bit surprised, though I wondered why. Kat and I nodded in confirmation. That must be so nice, being able to have a friend you grew up with and know that whenever you go back to them, they will always be there to accept you without the judgmental look. You didn't have any friend while growing up? Kat asked. I could detect a surprise laced in the question, and if I said anything, my voice would carry the same surprise. She never told me about this part of her life. No. My parents, especially my dad, stopped me. Said if I was to ever end up with someone from a respectable home like ours, I should not mingle with those from the low rank. You girls are like my first real friends? She smiled at us both. I placed a hand over hers. We're going to be friends forever. You both have got no choice, she pointed at us both. The door opened to reveal the maids coming in to pick up our trays. Thank you. The three of us chorused. The maids nodded and left the room. Soon, my phone rang. I reached for it and saw the caller ID. My heart began to beat loudly. Alex was the caller. Erika's POV. You won't pick up the phone? Paula asked. Wordlessly, I showed them the phone screen for the both of them to see who was calling. Alexander? Paula read the name. She raised her face to meet mine. I shrugged. Why is he calling you? Kat plucked the phone out of my hand before I could say a word. She had disconnected the call. Why did you do that? Paula was the one asking. Because she obviously doesn't want to talk to him. Also, he shouldn't be calling her after what he had done. Kat threw the phone to me. You should have let it ring till it disconnects, Paula suggested. The ringtone is a disturbance, she simply stated, refilling her glass. Paula merely shook her head and continued drinking. I was just a spectator, watching them talk about my call and why it shouldn't have been disconnected. But I was an absent-minded spectator. Why was Alex calling me? Had I forgotten something at his pack? Or was it about Serenity? Was she dead? Had something happened to her because of the knife wound? Or was he calling because... Because what? Fear twisted my gut. Did he know I was here? Had someone told him about this place? I looked at Paula. She was a member of Moonforest Pack, but she was my best friend. Would she betray me that way? I watched her engage in a discussion with Kat, being the fated mate of Alex's beta. Had she told Gage Forrest anything? But I had overheard their conversation. It did not seem like Gage knew who she was with. I jolted when the phone began ringing in my hand again. I looked at the caller ID. It was still him. Still him? Paula peered into my phone as she asked, Why is he still calling you? Kat stretched her hand and was about to pick my phone when Paula hit her hand. Ah, she glared at Paula, rubbing the spot Paula had struck. Stop disconnecting the call, Paula glared back. Was that why you hit me? Kat hissed in annoyance. And I'll hit you again if you touch that phone, Paula replied challengingly. Because he's your alpha? You're taking sides with him? Kat accused, still rubbing the spot. I guess the hit might have actually been hurtful. It's no news he's my alpha, but I'm not taking sides with him. That doesn't mean you should disconnect the call. Moreover, allow Rika do as she pleases. The look Paula was giving Kat was more funny than malicious to me. But it seemed to anger Kat. Well, isn't this a show? I settled comfortably, my back against my bed's headboard as I watched them throw words at each other. Petty quarrel of best friends. Very hilarious to witness. Rika does pleases. She too doesn't want to talk to your beloved Alpha. The heavy sarcasm on beloved did not go unnoticed. And how would you know that? You didn't even give her a chance to know, which she actually wanted to do, Paula retorted. If she actually wanted to take his call, she would have done so even without letting us know the first time he called. Kat wasn't ready to let Paula win. Which brings us back to my former statement. Paula, too, was not ready to succumb. What statement? Kat frowned. She was no longer rubbing her hand. You didn't give her a chance to know if she wanted to take the call or not. She repeated. Why are you here? And what sort of question is that? Paula gave Kat the stink eye. It is a question, nonetheless. So answer it. Kat was returning the same stink eye. The phone began ringing again. Both girls paused. They wanted to see what I would do to them that would actually end the spat they were having. I looked at my phone. My heart was pounding. I was a bit scared and nervous. The need to know and also the fear of not wanting to both nagged at me. Biting my lower lip, I tapped the reject button. Kat turned to Paula with a victorious smirk. Told you. Paula just rolled her eyes. At least she disconnected it herself, so it's her choice. Not yours or mine. She didn't want to look like the loser. But I still was right. She doesn't want to take the call of your beloved Alpha. Kat stuck her tongue out at Paula. Whatever. Paula went back to drinking. My phone started ringing again. I sighed. Still the same Alex. What was his problem? Could he not send a message? Could he not use any other method of communication? One that didn't include listening to his voice? Maybe it was better I answered the call. It was obvious he was not going to stop calling. Taking a deep breath and hoping this was not going to ruin my already bad day, thanks to my friends that were on each other's neck over Alex's call. It had become manageable. I picked the call. I saw the raised brows. Paula wiggled at Kat, who just ignored her. If not that I was on the phone, I would have laughed out loud at my best friend's display of childlike craziness. They were both acting as though the drink was intoxicating them. Who knows? They might be intoxicated already, which was why they were behaving this way. The other side of the line was quiet. I wondered why. Not hearing his voice and not willing to say anything, I ended the call. He didn't even say anything. I wondered what was wrong with him. Why he had called and not say anything. Is he okay? Paula asked, looking from me to Kat, who shrugged. Banter forgotten. How would I know? I don't owe him anything anymore. I don't know why he would pull a stunt like this. I stared at my phone, not expecting what had just happened. Maybe just misses his mate, Kat teased, a wide smile on her face. Right, Paula? Wrong, Paula replied. The smile disappeared immediately as Kat's lips curled in displeasure, and her forehead creased in annoyance. Paula chuckled, indicating she was just messing with Kat. You're right. Stupid. Kat threw a pillow at her. My phone rang again, and this time, without hesitation, I answered the phone. Alex better have something important to where the hell are you, Erika? Erika's POV. My ear rang in shock, and I put the phone away from my ear for a few seconds to enable it return to its normal state. What was wrong with him? Why had he thundered in my ear that way? I had one mind to end this call. I caught the look on Paula's and Kat's faces. They had heard his loud voice and were looking confused. Hello, Alex, I greeted, mustering calmness. I asked where the hell you are. He was raging. I could literally feel his body tremble with rage. Any reason why you're asking? I asked, that calmness not leaving my tone. Don't you dare play games with me. Have you forgotten the atrocious act you committed? Have you? He roared. I distanced the phone from my ear. He was determined to make me go deaf. Can you stop yelling? It definitely won't get you anywhere, I calmly told him. If I find you, I will make sure you wrecker. Something snapped in me. Maybe it was the pain of what he'd done to me, or the fact that Cindy was growling angrily in my head over the fact that a lowly alpha was addressing us without respect or regard. Don't you dare raise your damn voice at me again. My voice had thickened with anger. You hear me? Don't you dare. You speak to an alpha like that? You weak omega, he insulted. The laughter that emanated from my throat was neither sunny nor mirthful. It was sharp and mean. You call yourself an alpha, yet you don't know what's going on in your pack? An alpha, yet you can't control your crazy wanton needs? I was shouting now, and I couldn't care less. Wanton needs? Is that what this is about? You're jealous of Serenity? Is that why you tried killing her? I don't care what you think of me, Alex. I do, and I don't even care what you want to think. But I do know one thing. I have never been happier that our mate bond was dissolved. Liar, liar, pants on fire, Erika. I was lying, and I knew it, but he didn't know it. Even my friends had surprise written on their faces. They didn't believe me, I knew it. But just this once, it felt nice to make Alex feel just how he had made me feel all those years I remained married to him. He growled. Me too. Good. You will not tell me what. I didn't even let him finish. I hung up the call. So infuriating. His anger was misplaced. How dare he? One war declared on his pack, and he was gone. Him and everything that represented him as an alpha. But I wasn't him. I wasn't going to do it. No, I wasn't. Because I was a better person than him. A better werewolf. What was that about? Paula asked. Nothing. I gulped my drink, emptying my glass, and climbed out of the bed to pace around. Alex had angered me with his call. He had really allowed me let loose the anger I'd been trying to keep in check. If he dared dial my number again, I wouldn't take it lightly with him. My phone rang again. I ignored it. I knew it was him. The bastard. Shameless bastard. He didn't even care to know how I was. After 3 years, he couldn't even care to ask about my welfare after today's event. He had the guts to ask about my location just because he wanted to punish me for Serenity's sake. He still believed I was the devil, and Serenity was the angel. The blind bastard. If only he could see. If only he knew what he was doing. Serenity wasn't a good person, but of course, my darling ex-mate was not bothered about that. He was too blinded by her phony attitude to see who the real Serenity was. Anyone who could stab herself so deep and put her life on the line just to destroy someone else shouldn't be written off so carelessly. I had no idea what or who Serenity was, but I was no longer going to allow anyone step on me ever again. The phone was still ringing, but I ignored it still. That bastard. He would keep calling, and I wasn't going to pay him mind. What did he tell you, darling? Kat inquired. She and Paula had twin, concerned looks on their faces. I stared at them, then released a breath. I went back to join them on the bed. He yelled at me. That crazy bastard yelled at me. I struggled to tamp my anger. Paula patted my hand comfortingly. Kat rubbed my back, establishing support and care. My chest constricted, and before I could control it, I was bawling my eyes out. You'll be fine, darling, Kat soothed. You're strong. Soon you'll become Alpha, and Alcus will eat his words. Paula joined in, offering her support as well. I just don't know why I let him get to me, I sobbed. Because you still love him, and it's only natural you react this way, Kat responded. But I believe with time, you'll get over him. You'll show him who's boss by the time the moon goddess blessed you with another mate, Paula added. That talk again. I'm still not going to tell them. I don't even know if I want to deal with this mate thing anymore. I'm just tired. I just want to forget this even happened. Forget this call, the last 3 years, the marriage annulment and mate bond dissolution. Forget Serenity and her crazy antics to ruin my life. I just want to forget everything, I said instead. With time, you will, Paula comforted. Here, take this. Let's drink and forget all about Alexander and Serenity. Kat refilled my glass and handed it to me. Buying into her idea, I wrapped my fingers around the glass in acceptance. I sniffled and wiped my eyes. To freedom, Paula toasted. To the future alpha of Ironclaw. Kat added. I chuckled softly. To the best friends in the whole wide world. Erika's POV. The phone didn't stop ringing. I hissed angrily and kept it far from me. I didn't bother picking it or checking the caller ID again. Alex was just so stubborn, calling me just to berate me over Serenity's current situation, as though it was my fault. An angry hiss escaped my lips again. It's okay, Rika. You'll be fine. Paula patted my hand. Don't allow yourself think about him, darling. He's not worth it, Kat added. And they were right. But I could barely control the anger. It was as though it had forcefully unleashed itself after so many years of being calm and almost subservient. Yes, I know. Let's talk about something else. Kat opened the second bottle of wine and filled our wine glasses. I downed mine in seconds. I caught the look on my best friends' faces. What? You downed that in seconds, Kat pointed out, looking quite surprised. I shrugged. I had always been the wary drinker of the three of us. Paula was the normal drinker, but Kat was the crazy drinker, gulping everything that is remotely associated to alcohol. I needed that shot of intoxication coursing through my veins. I wanted to forget everything I had gone through, everything I was struggling not to remember, but Alex would not let me forget. That I did. I stood and ignored the incessant buzzing of my phone. He's annoying me. He should stop calling me. I eyed my phone in annoyance, pacing my room. Just ignore it. He'll get tired and stop calling, Paula advised. Or you can blacklist his number. He would not be able to reach you, Kat suggested. Her suggestion was quite the problem solver, but something was holding me back from actually going through with it. I sighed and went back to the bed. Pour me another glass. I extended my empty glass to them, specifically Kat. She was the one holding the bottle. She poured into my glass. Don't gulp it down, she warned. Yeah, and I did gulp it. You realize your alcohol tolerance is not high. Soon, you'll begin acting up, Paula stated, taking a gentle sip of her own wine. Of course, I do know, and that is why I want to get drunk. I could feel myself getting there already. I just wanted to sleep it off. I'm quite surprised she's not fully intoxicated and laughing like a loon already, especially after taking the first bottle with us, Kat said. Another one. I extended the glass again. My head was getting light. My eyes were beginning to close. It was exactly what I wanted. No. Paula snatched the glass out of my grip. Go to bed and sleep it off. Sleep what off? My words were beginning to get slurred. The amount of alcohol you have taken into your system, you need to sleep it off. Paula was keeping the glass out of my reach as I struggled to get hold of it. Give me back my wine glass. I want to drink more. I whined. No, you cannot drink more. Go to bed, Rika, Kat firmly ordered. No. This is my room and you both will not tell me what to do. I eyed the both of them, determined to get my glass from Paula. Yes, we can and we will. Go to bed, Kat insisted in that same firm tone. You're not my mother, I told her, quite upset. An established fact, but I am your best friend and I am that for a reason, Kat countered. Another established fact, Paula supported. I groaned in frustration. The both of you are just so infuriating. That's what best friends can become when it's time to do the right thing. This was from Paula. She had stepped out of the bed and was holding the glass higher. I was trying to reach it. That would have been very easy if I was not inebriated and struggling to keep my balance. I understood what my friends were trying to do, and though I really appreciated it, they would not understand. I was tipsy, not as drunk as I wanted to be yet. I could still think of him, picture him in my mind's eye, and I did not want that. I wanted to be so drunk that it would be impossible to think of anyone, especially him, so wasted that all I'd do was sleep off as soon as my back touched my bed. That was what I wanted. Naturally, I was not the bottle kind, and just as Paula had said, I had very low tolerance for alcohol, so I was easily intoxicated, unlike Paula and Kat who had high tolerance. I don't need you two to be infuriating. I just need you to be supportive. I folded my arms when Paula was being tenacious and stubbornly holding on to my glass. We are supportive, Paula claimed, which is why we do not want you anywhere near this glass anymore. At least, not for today, Kat put in. They were ganging up against me. These two supposed best friends of mine were teaming up against me. 2 against 1, was it? I hissed and moved away from them. My back rested against the headboard, one of my pillows on my lap. Don't be like that. Paula had this glint in her eyes. She was trying not to laugh. Give me back my glass. That will not be happening. We understand you want to drink to forget everything, but we cannot let you keep drinking, especially when you have low tolerance for it, Kat stated, refilling her own glass, her gaze locked on mine. She too was teasing me, and she was trying not to laugh too. I laid down on the bed, my back to them. I was going to fall asleep eventually, but I woke up and had to suffer from the pain that Alex's memories brought. The door opened suddenly, and I rolled lazily to stare into the face of my stepbrother looking so harried and angry. Where the hell did you leave your phone? Calm down, Jace. What is it? My brain was aware of what was happening. I wasn't that drunk. No, Erika. I can't calm down because there is trouble. Alex's POV. That crazy woman. Refusing to take my calls, and that was not all. She had dared talk back at me. An Omega talking so unruly to an Alpha like myself. That was unheard of. That was outrageous. It was unbelievable. She had issues me a warning, also laughed at me. If only I knew where she was. If only I knew that place she was hiding. I knew she was jealous. She had started out well, and even though I had not been satisfied with her as my moon goddess-given mate, I was willing to just keep the marriage because she made quite the good wife. But then I had to take the extreme measures to make her apologize for her wrongdoing. Serenity had done nothing wrong, and she had the wickedness in her to push the girl. As though that had not been enough, she stabbed Serenity. My beta even stood me up all because of her, Erika. I tried to control my anger. The pack doctor had said Serenity had lost lots of blood. That worried me. I just hoped she would survive this. I paced the corners of my office restlessly. The door opened to reveal my younger sister, Elena. I paused in my tracks to give her my attention. "Hello, brother," she greeted, her dimples on full display as she smiled. Elena. I frowned a bit in puzzlement, wondering what could be making her smile that much. "Serenity is all right now, and she asked for you," she informed me. Her smile grew. That was a surprising news and a good one. I had not been expecting it. Thanks the moon goddess that the plans of Erika had not worked out. "She's still at the hospital, right?" I inquired, already moving to the door with her following behind. "Yes, she is," she replied. "This is great news, Elena. Did the doctor say anything about her health?" I asked again as we walked out of my mansion and towards the grounds of the infirmary. "No, we are yet to see the doctor, but Mother asked me to come call you, especially since Serenity asked of you," she replied. We had gotten to the room Saren was kept in, and immediately I opened the door. Saren's beautiful eyes met mine. She smiled brightly, though it was somehow weak, but she was alive. I went to her, and she held my hands as tight as her current strength could carry. "Hey," she greeted. "Hey, Serene. How are you?" I patted her weak hand. As you can see, she showed me the huge bandage wrapped around her waistline. I tried not to let anger overwhelm me. "You'll heal in no time. It's a silver blade that was stabbed into your waistline. But the most important thing now is you're awake. I'll try to find Erika, wherever she had gone to hide, and I'll pull her out of that hiding hole. And the moon goddess help me, when I do, she would regret crossing paths with me. Your mom told me you lost Erika after I was rushed to the hospital." "Yes, I did. But don't worry. I'll find her and make her pay for what she did to you," I promised her. "No, just leave her alone." She said, "Why? You almost died and she was the reason behind it." I responded, "It does not matter. I understand how she feels. She lost you, lost her marriage, then had to make the most difficult choice, breaking her mate bond with you, which was quite painful. So she's allowed to rage." She patted my hand right back. See how nice and thoughtful Saren was, even though she had been wronged by Erika. She still did not want her to be punished. Rather, she should be forgiven and left to live her life. But then again, what if Erika had succeeded? What if Saren had not survived it? Yes, we both got divorced, but that was not enough reason for her to do what she had just done. "You're a really nice person, Serene." My sister, who had been listening to our conversation, commented, "I wish you had married my brother instead of that crazy murderess my brother had brought home to us." She said the last part with disgust. Saren managed a chuckle. It sounded weak and low. "Don't call her names, Elena. She's just in a really bad place at the moment. I believe she will get better, and when she does, she might regret of all this and possibly try to reach out." Elena scoffed. "Try to reach out? That devil? Wicked people like her do not regret anything. They just keep on being wicked to everyone around them." So bittered, that Erika. I listened to my sister air her grievances against Erika and Saren, trying to calm her down. Erika had never been this wicked, that was for sure. She used to be so humble, loyal and obedient, until she became this version I could not recognize. She did not deserve this mercy Serene was showing her, and I told Saren. She smiled. "No one is above making mistakes and engaging in acts we will come to regret in the future. It's all about understanding where their pain is coming from and try to help them, if you can, to alleviate the pain. She truly does not deserve your mercy, Saren," Elena put in, angry lines deepening on her forehead. "Where's Mother?" Whatever Saren said, I just pray I did not meet Erika anytime soon. She wouldn't like what would befall her. She just left now to get food for Saren. My sister responded. Mother had always loved Saren more than Erika, but she had not been able to do anything when she'd found out Erika was mate. Just then, Mother entered with a bag containing food. "You didn't use any of the maids?" I asked. "No one can be trusted for now, until Saren gets fully well. I'll personally take care of her," she replied. "I just overheard a troubling news right now, Alex." "What news, Mother?" "Ironclaw is in chaos." She met my gaze. She was trying to contain the worry, but I saw it. Ironclaw Pack was the biggest and most feared pack in Fangoria, and if there is trouble there, that surely spelled trouble for the rest of other packs in Fangoria. Erika's POV. Trouble? Both my best friends echoed in bewilderment. At the mention of a possible trouble in the pack, the influence the alcohol was having over me left in the blink of an eye. Even the seriousness in his tone was enough to make me sit up so fast that my head paid a little price for it, slight banging on both temples. I shook my head to get the headache away, but I ended up worsening it. I came down from the bed. "What trouble?" "Father is back." "And why is that trouble?" "He went for a meeting. Wait, My heart thudded. The meeting didn't go well and other packs have declared war on us? Hoping it was not the case. We would surely win, but I hated the thought of war. It brought a lot of innocent werewolves into the mix. Those who instigated the war usually survived, leaving the innocent pack members to die. And when it came to war, Ironclaw was not to be trifled with, and every pack in Fangoria would suffer for it. So, I just prayed it was not that worse. No, worse. The look on Jace's face was grave. It quickened the beat of my heart. Tell me, Jace. I took all of my willpower not yell at him. He sighed then. His shoulders sagged and his eyes glazed with unshed tears. Cat. His mate ran to his side and held him. What is wrong? Father has been poisoned. He growled after uttering those words, punching a wall in my room in anger. I staggered back, not believing my ears. Father? Poisoned? Who would have done that to him? I knew Father had enemies, people who were envious of his pack and how prosperous it was. Some werewolves hated Father because he commanded more attention than they did. But was that enough reason to kill him? Was that why they wanted to end his life? Those bastards. It's okay, Rika. A distressed Paula rushed to my side. Take me. Take me there now, Jace. I want to see him. He looked at me and nodded. He offered me a hand and I took it, mostly for comfort, and I knew he wanted that too. A reminder we had each other to get through this time. He was our father and only parent. He was all we had. He led me down the hallway and turned a corner. My legs wobbled with each step I took. I stepped out of the mansion and we walked to where the pack's infirmary was. I gripped Jace tight, and he gripped back as well. We both welcomed the need to hold on to each other. We passed nurses and other medical practitioners in the hospital, both of us ignoring their bows and greetings. On a normal day, I would have engaged in a little chit-chat with them, but today was not a normal one. From the beginning of this day, it had been filled with one unfortunate event or the other. We reached the room he was left in. Our hospital was the biggest too in the whole of Fangoria. Whatever amenities needed to survive in Fangoria, we had them all, and they were the biggest. We even had some amenities that other packs did not. Was this why someone would want to kill my father? The only parent I had? I willed tears away, but they were coming on strong. Panic fluttered in my stomach as fear squeezed my stomach tight. Good day, Your Highness. The doctor in charge of the hospital greeted us as soon as we stepped feet into one of the rooms situated in the VVIP section. There were 3 rooms in that section of the hospital. That was the only rooms there, and they were for our family. The royal family. Father. I rushed forward as a panicked cry left my lips. I went to hold his limp frame. He was hooked to some machines. I frowned. Was it this bad? Droplets of my tears fell on his cloth. This was not the cloth he'd worn just this morning when I'd seen him. They had adorned him with a hospital gown. Why so many machines, doctor? I asked, my voice shaky as more tears fell. Jace stood watching me. By his side was his mate, Kat and Paula. I had no idea they had followed Jace and I here. My gaze went back to the doctor. We need to suck the wolfsbane from his system, the doctor replied. Wolfsbane? Was all these necessary? I turned to look at my father, lying almost lifeless, the heart monitor beeping irregularly. My eyes fixated themselves on the lines that was the evidence he was still alive, but barely. Doctor, will he survive this? I asked again. Oh, Mother of the Moon, please help my father overcome this. Help him heal and do not let him die. His hesitation twisted my insides more. Why was he not saying anything? He exchanged a look with my brother. What were they not telling me? Jace, is there something you're not telling me? He looked away, his eyes glazed with agony and sadness. That did not make my nerves calm. That was not encouraging at all. Why are you both not saying anything? I yelled in frustration. tears filling and streaming. "It's okay, Rika." Paula and Kat came to my side to comfort me, but I could not be comforted. How could I be comforted when my father was lying in a state I had no idea how grave it was? "No." I moved out of their hold. "Don't tell me it's okay, because it is not. Look at my father. Look at him, and tell me it is okay." My voice became hoarse. I gripped my chest as pain squeezed tighter. "You need to calm down." They made to move closer to me. Kat was already on the brink of tears. Paula was blinking her eyes to ward off tears. "Jace, look at our father. Look at what they have done to him." I sobbed very hard. I felt strong hands come to scoop me up. "What is wrong with our father, Jace? You can tell me." In his hands, I felt vulnerable and small. "Everything will be fine." "No, Jace. You're lying and you know it." He heaved a deep, sorrowful sigh. The doctor said the poison had destroyed most of his organs. Erika's POV. W what? My voice was low and somewhat hopeless. "That's what he said." Jace was struggling not let me see his true broken emotions. It was hard for him too. We both loved father and he loved us too. There was not a day that passed he did not give Jace and I more reasons to love him. He was strict and principled when need be, and he was sweet and wonderful when we needed him to be too. It only broke my heart more knowing someone or a group of people out there wanted to hurt him so bad. "Can we ask the doctor if he'll survive it?" I wanted to know. I badly wanted to find out. "Will you be fine if I put you down?" Jace searched my face. I nodded. Yes. He put me down, but I still clung to him, and he let him. He put his arm around me. The doctor was still staring at us, his expression somber and sympathetic. "What's his survival rate, Doc?" Jace asked him. The middle-aged man with a wiry frame and wore rimmed glasses shook his head and released an audible deep sigh. "It's not good." "What is not good?" I gulped fearfully, holding on to Jace tighter. He was family and he was here. He was not poisoned. I still had someone to call family. "His survival rate. We are not sure. Just as your brother had told you, most of his organs had been ruined by the poison before he was brought here. We have been able to extract the ones we could, but some had mixed with his blood and other vital places. I'm trying to see how I can extract the rest without ending his life." I dug hard into Jace's flesh. Without his hold on me right now, I would be a puddle on the floor. "So either way, it's risky. Leaving the poison in would kill him. Extracting it might also kill him? Is that it?" "Yes. If he had been brought earlier, it would not have posed this much threat," the doctor said. "So if you were to give us any guess, just off the top of your head, what will our father's survival rate be?" Jace inquired. 90-10, he answered. A sob broke out of my mouth. 90-10? That was nothing. His survival percentage was too low, almost hopeless. What were we going to do with 10 as his chance to live? "Oh, Mother of the Moon, please do something. I beg of you, do something." I screamed in my head. I released myself from Jace's hold and walked like one who was drunk to his bedside. I held his hand. "Please, Father, fight harder. You can do better, please. I still need you to help me become the kind of alpha you are. I am not done learning from you. Jace is not done learning from you. We both need you not to kill each other." Tears fell from my hands. Jace and I fought like every other siblings. Dad was usually the one who separated the fight and settled us. "Yes, Dad. We do need you." Jace came to stand beside me. One of his arms was draped across my shoulders. His other hand was resting on Dad's leg. But there was no booming laugh, the kind I was used to hearing. There was no strict warnings or the angry growl that never stopped to scare Jace and I. Even now, as adults, what I would give to hear him say anything, even if they were angry words. I took a deep breath, trying to stabilize my emotions. What kind of wolfsbane? I turned to the doctor. Pardon, Your Highness? What kind of wolfsbane did you detect in his system? Demon orchid, he replied. I bit my lower lip hard, blinking my eyes furiously to stop tears. I swallowed, trying to dislodge the boulder in my throat. Demon orchid, I repeated in a whispery voice. Demon orchid was the wildest kind of plant known for its poisonous nature. No one had ever survived it, though there was scarcely any case of one poisoned with demon orchid. It was not regularly found like other common poisonous plant, so whoever that had done this had taken their time to find this plant. The demon orchid's poison could paralyze or kill depending on the dose administered to the victim. So if Dad was not dead yet, it could only mean one thing. When you said his survival rate was 90-10, can you explain better? Your Highness, I think you should. Tell me, I snapped as the first line tear ran down my left cheek. This was my father we're talking about. He did not deserve what was coming to him. He was a good man, the most wonderful father. I remembered how he had taken on the maternal armor after Mom died and taken care of me. He had met Jace's mom 6 months later, and she was good to me too. But one day, she had disappeared. She had left Jace and went away. Nobody knew why, and few months later, she had been found dead at the boundary of our pack. Father decided not to remarry and just take care of Jace and I. I was a year older than Jace. Dad took on the responsibility of being both a father and mother, despite his alpha duties when I was 10, and Jace was 9. Jace knew his mother but never wanted to talk about her. Even when we had found his mother dead, he had refused to grieve until date. He still held grudges over his mom, leaving him without notice. So if we both loved our father that much, there was a reason. Not just a reason, so many reasons. And if it would take one of my limbs for him to survive, I would have it amputated without a thought. You know how the demon orchid works. If it does not kill, it paralyzes. So what are you saying, Doc? Jace asked. The fear and grief in his voice was unmistakable. That even if he survives by some miracle, he would be paralyzed for life. Not just his body, his brain too. Erika's POV. So you're saying he would essentially become a vegetable? Jace asked. I'm afraid so. The doctor replied. I bit my lower lip as tears fell from my eyes. They wanted to get my dad. They had always wanted to see him fall. And they possibly thought because he had a daughter who was next in line, I would not be able to handle the responsibility well. Jace, I'd like for Dad to be moved to his room. He will stay there and receive treatment, I instructed, wiping tears off my cheeks. But this is a hospital, Erika. He'll do better here, Jace opined. Whoever that had poisoned Father would still be around, watching and waiting. I don't want anyone knowing anything about his health condition henceforth. It's safe for him, I explained, meeting my brother's stare. He nodded in agreement. All right. To the doctor. Do as she said. Make arrangements for him to be transferred to the mansion today, and whatever you do, let it be discreet. Just as my brother has said, be discreet. Anyone who wants to know, he's unavailable. The doctor nodded. Yes, Your Highnesses, but I'll need you to sign the transfer agreement form. It's for you conforming to the transfer the Alpha from the hospital to his mansion. We have no problem with that. Bring it and we'll sign it. Jace responded. When the form is ready to be signed, you know where to find me. I told the doctor. I needed to get out of there before I lost it again and crumple to the ground in tears. Using all of my will to make sure I did not turn back, I walked to the door, opened it, and left the room. I could not bear to see him in that condition. It broke my heart thoroughly. I walked like one who was heavily inebriated. The drink I'd had few moments ago was no longer the reason for my staggering steps. 2 comforting hands held my wrists on both sides. I did not have to turn to know it was Kat and Paula, my best friends who were trying to make sure I was fine, leaving everything they had going on to come, the same way Father had done. He always made sure I was fine, though he had rules which seemed to be quite strict, like when he forbade Jace and I from dating anyone when we were in our teens. He never wanted to see us with the respective opposite gender until we turned 20. We were barely allowed to have parties or go to any way. Even when I'd come to tell him I'd found my mate in Alexander, he'd refused at first. Alex was the first man I'd ever had anything intimate to do with. Father had always wanted me to rule the pack, not be a wife. He had even given me that contract to sign when I insisted on accepting my mate bond with Alex, giving me 3 years to make it work. And if I did not, it was mandated that I returned and take over, and I was not allowed to marry anyone again. Jace and I used to think he was too hard on us concerning our personal lives. But getting older, I personally began to realize that he was trying to protect us. He had married twice, and none had ended well for him. Father had been heartbroken when Mother died, but he pretended before us, tried to be strong, comforted me when I mourned and grieved, but I never for once saw him mourn even though I knew he wanted to. And when Jace's mother had come into the picture, he'd also been devastated when he found out she had left him. Sometimes Jace and I would try to tease him, put in subtle words. Anything to make him try again, but he was always smart to understand our motive and reject it instantly. He dedicated his life to us, to his people, his pack. And now someone who simply did not like him had to do this. I did not realize fresh stream of tears had rolled down until a hand wiped them away. It was Paula. Kat squeezed my hand comfortingly. Eyes were on us, but I did not care about them. I was barely seeing them. My mind was filled with lots of possibilities and probabilities. I got to my door, but before I could reach for the knob, Paula had opened it for me to go in. I climbed into my bed, curled myself in a fetal position, pulling the thick sheets over my frame, and cried silently. You can't keep doing this to yourself, Rika. The space behind me dipped as 2 of them plopped on the bed. That was from Paula. I wish I had stopped Father from going for that meeting. Darling, please don't harm yourself. Come out of your hiding. We're here for you. Kat put in. Father, please don't die. I still need you to teach me how to be the best alpha, just like you. I don't like seeing you this way, darling. Come out of that covering. Kat probed, urging me out of the covers. I never thought in a million years that Father would end like this. He was always the strong man, the hero we all knew. He was my hero. I sniffled as I battled against the heavy weight of emotions pulling me down into despair. Rika, everything will be fine. You'll get out of this. Those words of comfort were from Paula. I knew Dad would be disappointed to see me this way. He always believed in never showing weakness, to just be strong and pull through. Dad would be disappointed to see me lying in my bed, exhibiting weakness. It's okay to grieve, Rika. It's normal. But please don't wound yourself while at it. There was a huge dose of sympathy in Paula's words. Yes, it is. Moreover, as the future alpha, you're to find the culprit and deal with them. Not to say you should not, cry or something. But after the tears, darling, show them who's boss. Kat encouraged. You're one day going to take over as the next alpha of the Ironclaw Pack. It is a big and tough position that many would want you to fail because you're a woman. Prove them wrong, baby alpha. Those were Father's words to me on my 18th birthday, and Kat had in her own way reminded me just that. Suddenly overwhelmed by anger, I sat up and looked at both my friends. You're right, Kat. It's time to show them who's boss. Jace's POV. All my life I'd only known my family. My father and Erika. They were the only people I needed in my life. I was comfortable with them. Father had tried his best to give me the best life had to offer. After my mom had left, I had decided I didn't need any other person in my life. I had decided that Father and Erika were enough for me. They gave me love and treated me well. I was wary of love after seeing what Mom's leaving had done to Dad. I became wary of the opposite sex. And it was not a problem to avoid them, especially when Dad had always been hard on Erika and I about the opposite sex. He never let us go to any functions or receive random visitors, and after a while, it had become a part of me. Even when I had realized Kat was my mate, I had been shocked, because it had never occurred to me that the moon goddess would pair me with Erika's childhood best friend. I didn't reject the bond, but I was yet to accept it either. Kat was a really nice girl, and there was this crazy, confident way about her that was overall intriguing because I was wary nonetheless. She had tried seducing me a lot of times, and while I found it appealing, I had to control myself. It made her upset, and she sulked a lot. But I knew what I was trying to avoid. I did not want to end up like Dad. He was a very strong man to have lost 2 women in his life, and he did not let it deter him. Though I saw how sad it made him, even though he tried to make me feel like everything was okay, I knew it was not. It might have fooled Erika into believing he was fine, but not me. I had seen through him. So you'll be the one to sign? The doctor had brought in the transfer agreement form. I took it, read through it, and a sad sigh escaped my lips. I looked at the man who had given me the best life had to offer. The man who had motivated me to start my own business, and not to depend on his own achievement. He had told me to bring my plans to him, and he would support me, and he had. Without missing a beat, he had helped me stand on my feet. Whatever wealth I had today, he was the foundation, and they had poisoned him. They had seen how good he was, and their envy for what he had. They poisoned him. Anger surged through me. They had no right to do what they did. I would find a way to make whoever that might have done this pay. I would make them pay. I just had to find out who had committed this grave crime. I took the pen the doctor was offering and scrawled my signature where required. Let no one know of this, doctor. If this gets out, I would hold you responsible, not just for the leak of his transfer, but his being poisoned. The doctor's eyes popped in alarm through the wire-rimmed glasses that made him look more or less like a nerd. Have I made myself clear, doctor? I kept my expression as serious as possible. He needed to get the point. Why, yes, Your Highness. The man looked kind of nervous. Good. I gave him the signed form. Get me my own copy. 2 copies. One for me, the other for my sister. No problem, Your Highness. He bowed. I went to my dad's bedside and held his hand. I swallowed hard, lumps lodged in my throat. Wake up, Dad. Erika and I still need you. And I promise, I will find who did this and I will make them pay. My voice broke a little as I whispered those words to him. I promise. I left the hospital and was walking towards the mansion when a hand snaked around mine. I groaned in exasperation. I already knew who it was. Tessira Grigshade, the daughter of one of the prominent men in Ironclaw. Her father was also an elder in the pack. The elders were the cabinet members. They helped keep the pack organized. What do you want? I stared hard into her eyes. I just want to see my man. She smiled. Tessira was pretty, no doubt, but she was not my mate. Moreover, I didn't even like her in that way. I didn't even like her at all. I only gave her audience because of who her family was, and she was a leech. Hard to get rid of. Your man? Since when, Tessira? I was not one to manhandle a woman, so I reined in my anger. If she were a guy, I'd have bashed her head against a wall. You called me by my name. That's progress. She beamed. I had only referred to her as Miss Grigshade. Today's not the day, Miss Grigshade. She pouted. And you're back at that. Drop the formalities, Jace. She trailed a finger seductively down my arm. I snatched my arm from her hold. Stay away from me. I made to leave, but she came to block my path, spreading her arms. I can't. Leave my path, Miss Grigshade. I glared coldly. I know Katerina is your mate, but don't you think she's too slutty to be the Luna of the next alpha? I gritted in teeth. Was she delusional? Hey, don't say that in public ever again. You will not mention Katerina or talk about her like that ever. And I'm not the next alpha. Erika is. She's a woman. What does she know about ruling a pack? Especially the biggest pack in Fangoria. You have what it takes and I'll help you. That's how much I love you. I looked around us to make sure no one was listening to the nonsense she was saying. Stay the hell away from me. I walked away from her. I love you too, she called after me. I turned to give her the coldest glare. She just blew me a kiss in return. Erika's POV. You called me. Jace stepped into Dad's meeting room. It was better here. This was a serious matter that needed urgent attending to. Paula and Kat were in my room. They had both insisted on staying until they saw I was better, and I was grateful to them for it. Because no matter how ready I thought I was, I still needed them, Jace, too. I would stop at nothing to make sure the culprits are brought to book. I would make sure they were dealt with thoroughly. Alexander had messed with me, and I had let it slide. He and Serenity had chosen to toy with me and my emotions. I had let them just because I was trying to opt for peace. But this time was going to be different. This was my dad. My own dad. They had dared cross the line with the alpha of Ironclaw Pack. Whatever I had in mind to do now, I needed Jace to be in on it. Whatever I had to say, I wanted him to hear it. He was family, and I was sure that the past 3 years I'd been absent, he must have known some things, and I would definitely need his help executing my plans. Yes, I did. I had put on a dress, indicating I meant business, even if it was just with my brother. Have a seat. I gestured to the seat before me, while I occupied the one next to Father's throne like one. How are you holding up? His gaze and tone went soft and concerned. I blinked my eyes to prevent tears, swallowing the lump lodged there. Not trusting myself enough to speak, I nodded. Are you sure? He inquired, still gazing at me. I nodded again. He nodded after studying my face for a few more seconds. So what's this meeting about? I'm guessing it's something really serious. Seeing you in that dress and we're in this room. Have you signed the papers? I went down to business. Yes, I have. I requested that he make it 2 copies. One for you, one for me, he replied, getting into the serious mode too. When will the transfer commence? Father should be in his room before the day runs out. That's great. Where's my own copy of the agreement form? I wanted to take a look at it, to understand what my brother had signed on both our behalves. I'm coming. Let me get it. He stood and left the room. Ever since Kat had reminded me of Dad's advice, I had wanted to execute vengeance on whoever that had done this to my dad. I was probably going to hire an investigator after I had talked it out with my brother. He came in and handed a form to me. There were 2, I noticed. But there were the same forms. 2 same copies? Yes, one for me, the other for you. But I asked for mine alone. Still, as the future alpha of Ironclaw, you need to have trustworthy people by your side, he said. I know Jace, which is why you're here right now. I'm your brother, no doubt. But I do not want you to nurse even the slightest feeling that I might be after your birthright. Hence my transparency and the willingness to be accountable. He met my gaze. I looked at him bewilderment. He was not joking. Was he for real? Was this all happening? We grew up together, and never for once had I encouraged the thought that Jace was or might probably be after being the alpha. I'd always known him to be a very straightforward person. Never had he thought of ruling the pack. Ever since we were children, whenever Dad talked about the pack and running of it, he lost interest immediately. I was the only one who would listen. Sometimes, with genuine interest. Other times, I just wanted to go and play with Kat and Jace. Also Noir, if he was around. Jace, why would you think that way? I know you love me and probably trust me. Probably? I cut him short. Why was I feeling angry somewhat hearing what he was saying? How could he even think that way? How can you even think that way? What is your problem? I have no problem, Erika, and this is just the best way to go about this thing. Whoever that might have done this certainly wants the throne. And you think you'd be my first suspect? You think I'll not trust you because you wanted to hurt your own father, is that it? He's your father too, and you both have always been close. He argued. You're speaking gibberish. I stood, feeling anger and disbelief coursing through veins underneath my skin. You're crazy for even thinking like that. You're my brother, you dimwit. People out there think because I'm the man, I should take over. They do not care whose birthright it is. They want me to ascend the throne, and I know you might have heard it too. Don't lie, Erika. You have heard it too. He stood also. He was looking tired and angry. He was right. I have heard rumors and talks too. Those side gossips. Yes, I have. But the moon goddess is my witness when I say that I have never, ever thought of you that way. Maybe it's better I leave. He ran a frustrated hand through his hair. What? No. My heart flipped. No, he could not leave. I needed him to do this. Who will help me then? Who will be my family when I need one? You have Kat and Paula. They have both been there for you for years, especially Kat since you grew up together. So you're leaving? I struggled not to let the tears fall. What was wrong with this stupid idiot? Why was he this way? He wanted to leave because of what people have said in the pack? Because of baseless talks and crazy gossips? I need to, but I promise it's not for long. I'll be back. After everything has been settled. You want to leave, Father? Especially now that he needs you the most. What kind of a son are you, Jace? Abandoning the man that has been there for you? For us? I was yelling now. Tears blurred my vision. Anger and fear twisted my nerves. Fear of him leaving and never returning. You know I love him too. I love him, but for your sake, I have to go stay low. When you have ascended and begun your alpha duties, I'll be back. From the corner of my eye, I saw Paula and Kat run into the room. What the fuck is wrong with the two of you? What is going on? Kat asked. Keeping my gaze on his face, I replied, Your mate wants to leave Ironclaw. What? Kat and Paula exclaimed in disbelief together. Erika's POV. What do you mean by you want to leave the pack? Kat came close to him. This is not your problem, Kat, he told her quite harshly. Don't talk to me in that tone, she warned, steel in her voice. But Paula and I knew Kat would rather be brave to the end, even if it sucked at her soul, than openly cry. Then don't interfere, Kat. His tone retained that harshness. She punched him straight on the nose. He yelped in pain. She did not break it, but it was enough to redden the bridge of his nose. I said, Don't talk to me in that tone. Then leave here. It was Erika and I, not the both of us. He was angry at the punch she'd thrown at him. Jace was usually the calm guy. He never went searching for trouble, even as a kid, but that was not to say he was weak. Far from it, he was strong. He had an alpha wolf, which was not a surprise since Dad was an alpha. Why do you want to leave the pack, Jace? Kat ignored his statement. He wants to protect me because people are talking. I spat in anger. That's bullshit. Kat still had her glares on him. Erika, I have to leave. It's only for the best. I am trying to help you, he continued. Don't tell me that. I scream. How dare you, you selfish brat. Stop calling me name, Erika, he coolly said. Or what? Or what, Jace? I picked the forms I'd dropped on my seat when this whole thing started and threw at him. You signed those forms. You signed them. He let out a sigh. What has this got to do with anything? You don't know, or you're pretending not to know? I fisted my hands but kept them at my sides. I was controlling myself from planting another one on his face. Yes, I signed this. But are you leaving because of me? Kat interjected. From her stance, she was trying not to break down. I understood what mate bonds could do to mates involved. Stop interfering. Answer me. She shoved him, not allowing him finish. Are you leaving because of me? What if I am? He retorted, anger rolling off of him in great waves. What? Kat took small, staggering steps backward as though he'd hit her. In honesty, those words were enough to hit anyone, especially if it was your mate. But I thought you said it was because of me. I raised my angry, confused gaze to his. His released another sigh. Whatever the reason is, I just want to leave. Don't listen to him, Erika. I believe him when he says he's leaving because of me. Kat retained her gaze on him. Don't do. She removed her gaze, cutting him short once again. She looked at me. He did not accept the mate bond. That erupted a gasp from Paula and I. What? And I thought they were cool? That they were lucky to have each other. I'd always been happy finding out Kat and Jace were mated. They were the complete opposite of each other, but complemented each other still. She was crazily wild. Jace was calm and level-headed. Is this true? Paula finally spoke, asking Jace. He turned away from the three of us, his hands in his pocket. I looked at my brother. I did not want to compare him with Alexander. No, he was better than Alexander. He was going to be a better mate to Kat. Who does it matter? He asked. He turned to stare at the three of us. Look, this discussion was not supposed to go this way. Yes, I did not accept the mate bond, but I have not rejected it either. Do you plan on rejecting it? I wanted to know. Jace was my brother, but Kat was my best friend, and I would not allow Jace treat her just as Alexander had treated me. Yes, he is. Kat collapsed on one of the seats. I was expecting Jace to say something to counter Kat's words, but he did not. Was Kat right? Was he delaying to reject the bond later on? At first, it had been about him leaving because he didn't want people to keep saying things. But now his mate bond was also another angle. What was wrong with Jace? What was going on in his mind? Was there something he was not telling me? Do you still want me to have my own copy of the form? He calmly said, Yes, but you will not leave this pack, Jace. I swear to the moon goddess, you will not. You can't stop me, Erika. I hate you. Jace and I hate the fact that the moon goddess chose you as my mate. Kat uttered in anger. I could also see the pain in her eyes as she spoke. Her blue eyes growing dark, the pain clouding her beautiful cornflower orbs. My heart went out to her, also understanding what it was like to have such a mate. Jace looked shocked, and pain also clouded his features as her words. Something told me he loved Kat, but I might be wrong. His actions were totally the opposite. No one wanted to be away from their mate, no matter what. I know why he's leaving or eloping. Kat stood from the seat and paced. Eloping? Paula and I chorused. What was happening? Eloping? Jace also seemed surprised. And I think that made Kat more furious, as anger mixed with pain rolled down her eyes as tears. Don't you dare pretend you do not know what I'm talking about. But I don't, Jace argued. She smiled, but it was shaky. She was overwhelmed with emotions. And I knew better than to go to her. She'll reject my hug. Paula moved closer, and I shook my head. She paused, perfectly understanding. Your brother prefers Tessira Grigshade. I might be his fated mate, but Tessira is his chosen mate. The room went dead silent. What? Tessira? the bubbly, flighty girl. Is this true, Jace? Who's Tasira Grigshade? A perplexed Paula asked. Jace could not say anything. He kept opening and closing his mouth in shock. How do you even know about her? There, Kat gestured to him. I'm not lying. He finally agrees. She turned to him. Have a good life with her, ex-mate. And she hurried out of the room. I knew she crying. Paula stood uncertain, not knowing whether to follow Kat or to remain here and support me if I needed it. I walked closer to him. I am disappointed in you, Jace. I held up a hand, shutting him up immediately. Jace Blackwood, as the next alpha of Ironclaw, I exercise my power, forbidding you from leaving this pack. I seethed with anger. You can. You will not disobey my orders. You will remain here for Kat and Dad. Even if not for me. He tried to open his mouth, but the growl that left my lips left him stunned. Without another word, I picked the forms, threw his own copy at him, and left with mine, Paula following behind. Erika's POV. Where do you think she might be? We had entered my room, but could not find Kat. Paula and I exchanged concerned looks. Where was she? Where had she gone to? I went out of my room to find her. Jace was such a stupid brother. He deserved to be hit on his head. Tasira Grigshade? No. I did not believe Jace would have anything to do with that girl. She was always acting brainless. Her father's reputation and wealth was the only thing giving her a face in the society. And to be honest, she was quite pretty too. Only she behaved dumb. Too dumb. She was always liking every guy she thought was handsome and caught her eye. Jace was undeniably handsome. He had always attracted the opposite sex right from our childhood. It got worse when we became teenagers, but being the quiet, reserved guy, he barely paid any of them attention. I used to him about it and how he would end up lonely if he did not show interest in any woman, but he would always counter me saying he had me. I was the only woman he wanted to be around. Tears stung my eyes. How did we get here? Me yelling at my brother and him yelling right back. We had always fought, but it was unlike what had happened in the meeting room. That had been too personal. We had both gone overboard with each other. I thought Kat was happy, Paula said in a small, worried voice beside me. She was also trying to find Kat with me. Me too, Paula. Me too, I replied. We were outside the mansion now. My gaze roamed and searched the length of the pack. But it could not see the beginning, nor the end. The pack was very big. Of all the packs, we had the biggest landmass. We made our jewels ourselves. Our land was also blessed with natural resources, which was one of the ways Dad made money. This land belonged to the first alpha who found this place shortly after history, said he was forced to go rogue by a small pack on the western side. He had come here with some loyal members who had stood by him, and when he found here, he named it Blackwood's Legacy. But he later changed it to Ironclaw when adversities came to fight him and take the land from him after they saw the minerals and gemstones the land possessed. And it was also fertile for farming. We also produced our own food. We even produced commercially too. We were successful in every area. Where do you think she might be, Rika? I'm getting worried. Paula was standing beside me. She too was scanning the area but could not see Kat. Where are you? I was trying to ask when Paula was running back inside, but I was unable to finish the question before she ran off. But she soon returned with a phone. Her phone. It was to her ear. I'm trying to call her, but she's not picking. Her phone is in the room too, I guess. Where else would it be? I shrugged. She sighed and disconnected the call. Who do you suggest we do now? Your brother needs to be slapped severally, she uttered, quite pissed. And I am going to do it if he dared leaves this pack. I would so want to know why he suddenly wants to leave this pack. But I'm going to leave that until we find Kat, Paula decided. Why had Jace done this? It was truly mind-boggling. I had never known Jace to be what he was at the moment. What had he thought of to have made him speak in that manner? Behave as he had behaved? Was it because he liked Tessira? Or because he truly did not want to be in picture so people could stop talking about how he was supposed to be the alpha? How could he even say he wanted to leave father now that he was needed? I needed him to help with the investigation. Yes, I knew it was time for me to take over. It was even a matter of time before my coronation as the next alpha took place, and during that important moment in my life, I would not have him around me. I would rather have him in chains present than missing. I knew Jace. Something was not right with him, and I was going to look into it. For now, I just needed to find Kat and try to make sure the doctor did not slack in my dad's treatment. I knew the chances of him surviving were almost non-existent, but I would fight, at least to make sure he would survive. But then again, the doctor had said that if even he survived, he was going to remain a vegetable. No, I would not think of that now. I would not bother my head or bruise my heart further on thoughts of my father's illness. I needed to find my best friend. Let's go inside. Paula was holding my hand. No, I need to find her. Something was not right. I needed to find Kat. We cannot keep standing here. It would make people suspicious or begin to give us weird looks. Let's go inside and think properly where she might be. Paula was right. Reluctantly, I let her hold my hands and pull me inside while my eyes still roamed the premises as though I would find her. We went back to my room. I could not seat. Where could she be? I don't know, Rika. This is not my pack. I am not really familiar with places here. But you are. This is your pack. She spoke, looking at me expectantly. I know this is my pack, but I don't know where she is. She's your childhood friend, Rika. I don't know why I'm having a bad feeling about Kat. Think, Rika. Where do you think she would hide? Where does she go to whenever she's sad or wants to be alone? I was having the bad feeling too, but Paula had helped me remember. Pulling Paula with me, we ran out of the room. I think I know where she might be. Her hand still in mine. We ran to Kat's favorite spot, a hidden lake at one of far end of the pack. And it was lonely too. Getting close to the spot, I heard growls. My eyes snapped to Paula. She had heard it too. We knew there was danger, and as though in sync, we both transmuted into our wolves. If Kat needed us, she needed us to come prepared. Erika's POV. Cindy ran through the forest as though she was in pursuit of someone. Paula's wolf was right beside her. It was big too, but not as big as mine. The lake was close. We just needed to get through the forest and reach the almost end of it. People rarely came here, which was why Kat loved it. She used to say it was as though the moon goddess had reserved the spot for her. Dear moon goddess, please let my best friend be all right. I would kill Jace if anything happened to Kat. He caused all of this. As we got closer, we heard more growls and then a whimper. Again, Paula's wolf and my wolf exchanged looks and increased their pace. I was seeing the lake, but I was yet to see Kat or her wolf. By the time we reached the lake, it was silent. From my instincts, I knew something was wrong. It was as though someone or something was lurking, laying in wait. Where the hell was Kat? Paula's wolf took off in the other direction. I took off in the other. Cindy understood what Paula's wolf was trying to do, divide and conquer. Soon, I heard more growls from the path Paula had taken. I rushed back there and saw Paula's wolf fighting with about 5 wolves. In the midst was another wolf on the ground, whimpering, and had blood oozing from its ribside and one of its forelimbs. Delia, Kat's wolf. That was her. Oh, mother of the moon. I rushed forward in anger and went to fight beside Paula. As an alpha wolf, Cindy had the upper hand. She sunk her teeth into one of the wolves and quickly followed with her claws, tearing down the enemy wolf's back. It was a deep cut that erupted a growl from this wolf. Cindy dug into her teeth into this wolf's neck and tore out his vein. It fell flat dead instantly. I was as pumped and revved as she. Cindy was ruthless than I was. This was the reason I hated fighting, was not because I would be beaten. No. But because my wolf loved exercising her strength and would never hesitate to use on anyone who wanted to trespass, or had already dared trespasses. The next wolf that crossed path with Cindy was unlucky. It lay dead within 15 seconds, blood gushing out of its neck. Paula's wolf howled in pain. I turned to see that she had been injured on her back. Cindy went after the wolf responsible and dug her claws into one of its eyes. She scratched and pulled until the eye popped out. She also lifted her midair and used her sharp claws to tear its belly. The wolf fell, not truly dead, but at the point of it. The remaining 2 wolves ran, but I saw that one of them limped. Paula's wolf must have done that. Cindy transmuted to me, same with Paula and her wolf. We both sat on their floor naked. Cat had transformed too. She was too weak to talk. We need to take her back to the mansion, Paula said. Her back had many scratches, but none too deep to cause any harm. Thank the moon goddess. The mansion or the hospital? I was a bit breathless from all that fight. Paula looked at me. Rika, in case you have not noticed, those wolves were not random wolves who just happened to stumble upon Cat and begin a fight. They knew her or you. Maybe they even came for you through her. You're about to take over and all this starts happening. See your father, Rika. He was poisoned. How come in a room full of other werewolves? He was the only poisoned one and with a very rare plant. Whoever uses demon orchid is deliberate about their intention, she explained. She was right. Whoever that had attacked Cat had done it because they knew me and, as Paula had said, probably wanted me. 5 against 1. I pointed out the number of werewolves that had attacked her. Someone knows that's her favorite spot, and also know you spend time with her there. They might have come bearing in mind they would meet you, hence the numbers. The raspy breathing of Cat was a cause for great concern. Paula and I looked extremely worried. All 3 of us were naked? How were we going to get her to the mansion without people looking at us? But Paula stood and lifted Cat onto her back. I know we're naked, Rika, but we cannot let Cat die. Let's just find a way to go through the back of the mansion. The back is not really void of people, but you're right, I don't care anymore. Let's go. We began running out of there, sprinting through the trees, trying to hide our nakedness as much as we could, and Cat's too. I saw Paula trying to hide the pain she was feeling. I realized her back was hurt, and she was carrying Cat on there. I paused. Hey, it's my turn. All right. She lifted Cat onto my back. I could not believe this was Cat. She could not make a sound. Barely anyone. Do you think she's alive? She's not talking. Yes. Think positive, Rika. I nodded. About to come out into the opening that led to the mansion, we saw Jace running towards us with some clothes in his possession. What happened? I ignored him and snatched a shirt out of his hand, carefully laying Cat on the floor. I put on the shirt. It was his. Mother of the Moon. What happened to Cat? I heard the tremble and regret in his voice, but I said nothing at him. This was all his fault. Paula also took the second shirt and wore. It was his, too. It was big on us, but it would do. Before we could get to it, he was already wearing Cat the shirt and lifted her into his arms. He blinked surreptitiously. He was trying to fight off tears. He was running in the direction of the hospital, the mansion, Paula told him. He did not ask why and carried her to the mansion. Let's go call the doctor. Paula made a beeline for the hospital. I followed. Eyes were on us. Cat's blood were printed on us. Luckily, we saw him as he was stepping out of the medical building. He was quite stunned when he saw us and our blood-stained appearance. I knew my hair was scattered over the place, Paula's too. But that was the least of our problems. "Your Highnesses," he greeted us both. "I need you," I uttered. "Our friend is unconscious and isn't breathing well," Paula informed, breathless. "She's at the mansion. That's where you'll treat her." The man turned to me for confirmation. I nodded. "All right, let's go." Erika's POV. We ran to my room. It was Paula, and I doing the running. The doctor walked hastily behind us. I just hoped nothing had happened to Kat. There had been so much blood. They had badly wounded her. Knowing Kat, I knew she would have refused to back down. Kat did not believe in running away from a fight. She was always willing to stand her ground and fight to the end, even if it meant losing her life in the process. She had this belief that it was better for one to die honorably than live as a coward. "Kat, you're not a coward. You should have ran from them. You should have not bothered fighting, or you should have called for us. You should have ran to us, and Will would have fought it as one. Please, Kat, stay strong," I cried within as I said these words to myself. Paula ran ahead and pushed open the door. It was empty. I followed behind and frowned. "Where's Kat?" Paula was already out of the room. "Where's your brother?" I increased my pace to meet up with her. "Let's go to his room." I led the way, still running. I ran up the stairs. His room was on the floor below mine. I was not one who liked climbing the stairs, which was why I chose one of the rooms downstairs as mine. Jace did not mind and chose his upstairs. I bounded up the long flight of stairs, leaping 2 steps at a go. I met him halfway up. "Where's she?" "In my room." Was coming to see I did not even let him finish. I ran past him and got to his room. It was very big. Even bigger than mine some. Lying on the king-sized 4-poster, dark-themed bed was Kat. His bed was soaked with her blood. She had passed out. Panic rose. "Doctor!" "Right here, Your Highness." The man was just walking inside. He was breathless and looked tired from all the running and step climbing. But that was not my concern right now. "She has lost consciousness." I could not hide the panic in my voice. Paula came to hold me close, wrapping me in a warm, comforting hug. And knowing she needed it too, as Kat was not just my best friend, but hers too. I held her too in comfort. We both comforted each other and watched as the doctor tried to check her pulse. "Is she going to be okay, Doc?" Paula asked. I was too scared to. I did not want to hear the doctor declare bad news, as he'd declared on my dad. "Yes, but only if we act fast. She's lost a lot of blood, hence the slip into unconsciousness. I'm going to have to call some of my nurses to bring the things I need to help keep her stable. Also, she'll need blood, lots of it. I have some in the blood bank, but we'll have to know which is suitable for her," he explained. "Then what are you still waiting for? Make that call immediately," I yelled. Tears, sweat, and snot were all over my face. "Calm down, Rika." Paula pulled me closer. "The doctor is doing his best. It's all my fault. It's because of me. They wanted me, but they got her instead. I'll never forgive myself if anything happens to her." I sobbed on Paula's shoulders. She gently led me to one of the sofa in Jace's room. Another time, I might have admired his room, as I always did whenever I came to see him, but not today. Today was a very ruthless day. So many things have been happening today. First, it was annulling my marriage and breaking my mate bond with Alexander. Then the incident with Serenity. Next was Dad's poison episode. And then the argument with Jace that had led to what had happened to Kat. Something was going on, and at this moment, my head was just too hot to carry it. My mind was too disordered to think of anything. Kat had lost her parents when we were 15. It had been just her ever since, and being an only child, she had no other relative. Kat did not know her extended family. Her parents had moved in here, to this pack, just before she was born. They had refused to tell her the true story behind there, leaving their former pack to this one, And being happy here, Kat had not really bothered. She had been happy being best friends with me, and even when she turned an orphan, she decided to come here often, as she could not really bear the loneliness. Dad had to make sure she was well provided for. Took care of her until she became an adult. She knew this mansion like she owned it. She was my childhood best friend. I could not let anything happen to her. I looked to see just Jace standing close to the bed, his face red of many emotions from pain to anger to regret to sadness to torture, and the list went on and on. He had caused this. This was all his fault. The doctor came in then with 2 nurses trailing behind, each handling one medical device or the other. He quickly fixed the IV and made sure it was dripping into her veins. He took a scissors and tore her rib side that was gushing with blood. I stood and went with shaky legs. Paula tried to pull me away, but I would not allow it. "Remember, you cannot stand the sight of blood," she reminded me. "I have to go see. To make sure Kat is fine." She pulled me back. "Kat will be fine. She's in capable hands." I halted and squeezed Paula's hand tight. I did not want to seat while my best friend was receiving treatment. "I need to know who did this, P. I need to fish them out. But you have to be careful, Rika. From the look of things, whoever that's behind might also be behind your father's current predicament. This is not a fight, Rika. This person is ready to kill. We just need to know why." Erika's POV. "Why?" I looked at her. Even Jace turned to her. Only the doctor and his 2 nurses did not pay mind to our discussion. Her eyes were not laughing, and her lips were pressed tight in a mean line. Whenever Paula did that, she was thoroughly displeased. "Yes. Without the why, then what are you fighting? How then do I know the why? I have to start the fight first. Knowing the why would certainly need some fight. But before I think of anything, I just want to make sure Kat survives this." I turned my attention back to the bed where she was receiving treatment. "Can't we take her to my room?" I did not want to be around Jace. I needed Kat in my room. That was possibly the only way I could get to see her and be with her. "No, Your Highness," was the doctor's reply. His attention was still fixed on taking care of Kat's wound. She looked so vulnerable lying there. It almost made tears stream down again. But I blinked them back. Her thick red curtain was splayed all over the wide bed. It looked as though the bed was swallowing her whole frame. Why? I was sounding, quote, unreasonable in that instant, but I did not care. If Kat could be transferred to my room, I'd like it. "Kat, what's wrong her being here?" Paula asked. I sighed. "Nothing. Just allow her heal first, Erika," Jace put in. I whipped my head to his direction, where he stood with his back to the wall and glared. "Don't you dare talk to me," I warned. I saw the doctor and his 2 medical workers glanced at us, then averted their gaze. "Look, I know you're angry, but can you just calm down for the time being?" I gave him the meanest once-over I could muster, wishing I could bash his head against the wall. His shirt was stained with blood. Kat's blood, and that was enough to remind me that he caused of all this. "Don't tell me what to do. You have no right to do that, Jace," I admonished angrily, stepping forward. Paula was pulling me back. "I'm not." But I did not let him finish. "The fact that you brought clothes does not cover up nor make up for what just happened, which is your fault." "How is it my fault?" He stepped forward too challengingly. I snatched my hand from Paula's hold and stood before his face. "Ask that question again, and I'll reply you." Anger boiled my insides. My hands stained with Kat's blood were fisted by my side. How is it a quick, hard jab at his face had him groaning and holding his nose? Nothing was broken, but the area grew red immediately. His wolf's eyes flashed angrily. I scoffed. "You think I'm scared? Let your wolf out, Jace. Fucking let him out and see what happens." At the last statement, my voice had deepened to a growl. Cindy was ready to take over. I was not my usual self right now, but again, I did not care. I did not care what happened, but I was in a mood. Paula came to pull me away. The doctor and nurses stood to watch warily. From the corner of my eye, I saw one of the nurses looked at me in fear and shifted away from me. "Stop this, Erika." Paula's voice lost its soft, comforting tone. It was now harsh and disappointed. "The doctor is working on Kat. To make sure she feels better, don't keep doing this. I know you're angry and overwhelmed with every event that has been unfolding, but calm down. What do you think your dad would say about your behavior if he was? Don't talk about my dad." I used that same growling tone at her. She looked taken aback and released her hold on me. Realizing the way I'd talked to her, I ran out of the room, bounded down the stairs, sprinted through the hallways and out the back door of the mansion. I did not stop until I was at the stream close to the mansion. Jace and I frequented here a lot, as kids. We began to see it as our spot. Jace called it the family spot. We used to drag Dad to come with us sometimes, where he would watch Jace and I play pretend. While Jace would act as the alpha, I would pretend to be his Luna, or sometimes his personal servant. Jace would try to mimic Dad and I would mimic Dad's personal maid, Yolanda. He would roar in laughter, finding our unscripted drama very funny. It was fun. Kat joined in on some day, and when she did, she took the part of his Luna who maltreated me, the personal servant. Memories were made here. Two of the most important people to me in this world were in danger, their lives hanging on the balance of hope. Kat had almost died in the forest. My dad was lying almost lifeless in his room. Everything was coming at me so sudden that I was staggering under the weight of it all. Jace wanted to leave, but I was keeping him back. Despite being angry at him, I did not want him to go. I would feel miserable and lonely. The only family that was able to talk and laugh was planning on leaving. Tears ran down my eyes, and within seconds, I was sobbing. Though the lake was quite lonely, people could still see, but it would be a far view for them, and no one came here if my brother or my dad was here. So, for the time being, I was going to be alone. It was better for me. I needed to think, to plan. I had a lot of work ahead of me. "Hello, Your Highness." I turned to Sira Grigshade. What was she doing here? And how had she known I was here? Erika's POV. "Hi," she beamed, walking over. She had a bottle of drink in her hands and 2 glasses. As soon as she reached where I was, she made herself comfortable on the sand next to me. She gently dropped the bottle and 2 glasses on the ground. To Sira. I quickly wiped my eyes so she would not ask too many questions. Questions I would not answer, but I did not want to be rude ignoring her questions. "Your Highness," she greeted again. "How did you know I was here?" I asked her. "I saw you coming out of the forest. I was curious. So I followed you guys." I fixed a sharp gaze on her, but not for long though. She raised her hand as a form of surrender. "Why would you follow us in the first place?" I pressed my lips into a thin, hard line. "I'm sorry, but I saw that Jace was looking troubled, so I decided to see if I could help out, but I did not want to infringe." She explained. "I'm sorry, Sira, but now is a bad time. Another time, maybe." I kept my gaze to the stream. "I know it is a bad time, which is why I went back home to bring one of my dad's most expensive wines. You're royalty, so you deserve to drink the best there is." She was already uncorking the glass and pouring into 2 glasses. I was not looking at her directly. I continued to keep my eyes on the waters before me, thinking of what was currently happening and what the way forward was. How should I begin to investigate Dad's current situation? Also, was there any connection between Dad being poisoned and Kat being attacked? I wanted to know. These were need-to-know questions, and I wanted answers. Here, she offered a glass. I studied the half-filled glass and then her. I ignored both of them. That was the very least of my problems. Go home with your wine, Tessira. Next time. I'm sorry to come unannounced, but you know it's quite unfair to make me go home with the wine I brought for the two of us. Was that a sad whine I heard in her voice? Was she about to cry? Tessira was an over-pampered child. Most knew her to be flighty, ignorant, and quite dumb. Being an only daughter of one of the elites in Ironclaw Pack, she was entitled to a lot things, including people's time and attention. She usually got fussy when she could not get whatever she wanted, and that was one of the things I was not in the mood to tolerate her puerile attitude. Go home, Tessira. I will, she replied. Silence enfolded in on us. I wanted her out of there, but she seemed hell-bent on remaining here, although she had agreed to go home. Maybe I should give her time. She would leave soon. I sighed. I thought of Kat. I wanted to go check up on her, but she was still in Jace's room. I did not think I would be able to go there, not when he was still there. But how long would I continue to avoid him? We would have to talk at a point, and that was what I was uncertain of. I had no idea how any conversation between Jace and I would pan out. I did not even know what we were going to say to each other. It was a long while later, and I noticed she was still seating next to me, not saying a word. Why are you still here, Tessira? Are you here for Jace? Jace, will you let me see him? Her smile was bright. This girl was something else. Jace is busy. I was tempted to ask her if she and Jace wanted to elope, but thought against it. At this moment, it was not my concern. He was not going to leave this pack. That was my promise to Kat and Dad. I would make sure he did not leave, but my heart constricted in pain even as I thought of it. Jace was an adult, and not just that. He was my brother. I could not just tie him down against his will. If he had decided to leave the pack, would I be able to stop him? And even if I exercised my power, how would that keep my relationship with him? Also, what if he decided he was going to sneak out of the pack without my notice? What would I do then? I had no idea where he would be going to. I blinked back tears. I had returned home earlier today to start a new life, to just rule as the alpha as Dad had wanted. The agreement had been to either build my marriage or come back to rule alone, no mate. But the events that had been unfolding were unexpected. Are you okay? She peered into my face. I need to be alone. Please go away. I did not want her to see my tears. It was coming. I could feel it. I was trying to push it back, to swallow the tears, but it was lodged in my throat. I will. But she remained. Few minutes later, she was still seated. What do you want, Tessira? You keep saying you will, but you never will. I'm sorry, Your Highness, but I want you to take this wine. I'm all for wanting you to feel better. She offered the glass she had poured for me. Anger flared. Impatience reared its head. Leave me alone. Take this wine and get out. You're about to cry? She was observing my face. Trembling with anger, I stood and walked away from her. She stood and threw the wine in both glasses. I watched her gather herself and the things she'd brought. Have a nice day, Your Highness. She bowed and walked away. I watched her walk away. I moved a bit farther to avoid more people like Tessira Grigshade. I looked at the mansion behind me. Maybe I should go back to see how Kat was faring. Moreover, it was not fair to leave Paula all by her. My thoughts were cut off as an unexpected force pushed me into the water. Fear seized my being. Someone had pushed me. Erika's POV. Who had pushed me? I struggled to come out of the water, but a body pushed me back and held me down. Beneath the somewhat deep water, the face was masked. I struggled to get out of the stronghold of this mysterious person, whose intent was obvious to me. They wanted to drown me. I continued to struggle with them. I could not afford to lose this wrestle with them. Who was this? They had chose the perfect time to come, just when Tessira had left. Had they been watching me? I put all of my strength into this struggle with this person. I managed to grab a fistful of their shirt, using it as an anchor to pull myself up. I was able to raise myself, and in a mist of rage, my forehead connected with theirs. I heard a muffled groan. Using that moment of weakness to my advantage, I kicked them and pulled myself out of the water, gasping for breath. I was almost on land when they held my left ankle and tugged. No, I could not let them drag me back to the water. I would not be drowned to death by a stranger while my dad was fighting for his life, and my best friend was yet to regain consciousness. I had my father's legacy to continue. So no, I would not die. Feeling the strength and anger of my wolf emerge, I twisted my ankle to free myself from their grip. As I was twisting my ankle free, they pulled at it with force. A scream erupted from my lips. I had sprained that part of my leg, and it hurt bad. They pulled it still. I bit my lip to prevent from screaming. This person might be dangerous. There was no need to endanger the life of my members. I was pulled back into the water, but I was fast enough not to let myself be submerged. But I was unlucky in trying to nod them again. They dodged and landed me a jab on my nose. That hurt like hell. I was bleeding and was being submerged under the water again. I was losing my breath. Bubbles rose from my mouth as I helplessly swallowed water. My brain was shutting down. I was helpless and drowning. My lids were closing. I could not control them. I jerked. My life was flashing before my eyes. My strength was waning. I could not put up much fight anymore. Then I let go. I stopped fighting and went limp. My eyes closed finally. My masked attacker was releasing their hold on me, and soon I felt light. There was no weight atop me. They had let go too. I bid my time, held my breath, and opened one of my eyes. They had their back turned to leave the water. Acting quickly, I jumped from the water, ignoring the pain that shot up my sprained ankle. I tapped them on the shoulder. They turned, and without wasting time, my fist connected with their jaw, they staggered. Their mask was light, but it was thick enough to conceal their identity. I did not give them time to recover. I landed another one on their face. I limped slightly, moving forward as they staggered back from the force of my punches. I continued to throw punches, hitting them squarely on the face. But they dodged the last punch, and staggering, they pulled out a small knife from its sheath. "Who are you?" I began to run more like limp backwards. This person came prepared. But instead of replying, they came forward and lunged at me. I arched my back, narrowly missing the knife. I was drenched and cold. My ankle hurt. But that was not an excuse to easily surrender. They thrust forward the knife again, aiming for my chest. This person was determined to kill me, and in trying to dodge, the knife sliced my side. I cried out in pain. Blood dripped. "Who are you?" I held my side, limping away from danger. "Who sent you? What do you want with me?" I was breathless and tired, but I would not offer my life to this person. I targeted the mask. I would try to get close enough to pull it off. That would quell my curiosity. They lunged forward again, but I was lucky to miss. Unfortunately, my big toe hit a stone. I pressed my lips tight to muffle the sound of pain. They lunged forward again. I was not fast, and it sliced my back. And I received a blow on my temple. I saw stars. I shook my head to clear my hazy vision. They attacked and pushed me into the water. I held their cloth, so we both fell. Noticing my left knee was positioned between their legs, I kicked brutally. They fell backwards. I climbed them and struggled to get their mask off. It became a heated struggle as they sliced my hand. The more I tried to get it off, the more I was sliced. Soon, my whole hand was covered in my own blood. I was becoming weak. I had to act fast before I bled to death. I punched them severally, but our positions were turned and I was beneath. They were about to drive the knife into my eye, but I held them. I was in a lot of pains, but now was not the time to acknowledge it. I turned the knife on them, and letting out a furious growl, drove the weapon into their chest and twisted. Twice. Their blood dripped on me. I pushed them away. They fell without resistance. I crawled to their face and pulled the mask. I frowned. Who was this person? I'd never seen them my entire life. Raising my head to scan the tall trees at the other side of this big river, I felt scared and struggled to get up and limp quickly out of that place. Jace's shirt was torn and the white was now filled with red. I was bleeding profusely, which was making my vision blurry. I checked my hand and closed my eyes and swallowed bile. I could not stand blood, especially when it was much. I was going to pass out, I knew it. But I did not want it to be here. I struggled to climb the stairs, and as soon as I entered Jace's room, I heard stunned gasps. "Erika!" Paula screamed. Strong hands came to hold me before I reached the floor. "I was attacked," was the last thing I said before slipping into unconsciousness.